Okay.
Timer, so I want to make sure that we are here at the time that we need. Okay, so good afternoon, Mr. Vilaco. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to go see you the other day. Really enjoyed seeing you teaching and seeing the kids excited about Italian, so it was a great visit. What we are gonna do now is I'm gonna tell you, as I told you, I want to observe you, but to give you feedback.
Yes.
Okay, on things that I see that maybe can help you, or things that maybe you can change. Okay.
Okay.
What I'm gonna tell you is not perfect. Is what I think that could help you. Okay. And I was focusing it in the observation, as I told you, in dimensions 2.4, that is differentiation, and also in dimensions 2.5, that is monitor and adjust. And I took a lot of notes here, so I'm gonna go ahead and start from the beginning. And I know this was like almost a week ago and we couldn't meet before, so I wish we had met earlier, but it was impossible to find the time, but it's okay, we'll make it work. Okay, so I noticed, for example, when I walk into the classroom, you were taking attendance, and the students are supposed to respond presente, that is the same in Spanish, and I think that's great. No, but I was thinking, and this is just a suggestion, while the kids were responding to you when you were taking attendance, and they were not really doing anything. They were chatting between them or doing, or being busy with something else. I think somebody was playing with markers. So I was thinking, have you considered, and I know you had a warm-up on the board, but have you considered making students writing? Because I have the same case, like I always have when my students come in, they know the routine is walking in, getting my binders, they know they have them over there, they take them, they go to their seats, they have the warm-up, and they start working right away. So there is no time for talking or wasting time, and at the same time I take attendance, so they are still doing their work. And the work can be even to review grammar maybe that you taught the day before, or vocabulary, or maybe it can be just questions about, in English, about specific things or culture that you have learned, or making connection between their culture and the Italian culture. So it can be a variety of things. Usually those warm-ups, I have them ready, as I said, for my students always, and it takes them between 5 and 10 minutes to do it. And I know you're not gonna be able to go over all of them, so while they are doing that, you are taking attendance. Once they are done, as they finish, or when you see that you have maybe, I don't know, half of the class done more or less, you start, or even if it's less than that, you start checking on them. But when half of the class is done, the other ones can keep working, and you can just tell them, okay, let's share this information. Go ahead and share with your group maybe first, and then you can share with somebody else, okay? I feel sometimes, and maybe as an adult it happens to you, it happens to me, that they ask you questions in a meeting or in a place that you don't feel 100% like you know everything, and you feel that pressure of, oh my God, I don't know what to say. But if the students have been working on something, and after that you give them a couple minutes to kind of do, talk among them. Okay, this is my answer, that's my other answer. Now, another thing that I do, and this works really well with middle schoolers, is I tell them, because usually it's like they don't want to talk sometimes, or sometimes all of them want to talk. So I tell them, okay, the last person that touches her nose in Spanish, so we work on the body parts at the same time. So we are gonna start with the person that has the longest hair, or the person that touches his nose last. And that way all of them are, because they don't want to start. So all of them are like, okay, I'm ready to go. So it's a way, to keep them busy, engaged, and they are focusing what you are doing, and that will be, again, it will give you the time to do your attendance, and on top of that, they are reviewing something maybe that you have done. Okay, yeah, questions about that? This is a suggestion, I do it, and the touch your nose, even the 12th graders love it. They are like, it wasn't me, I got it. So I think it works really well. Okay,
so you ask them to touch their nose, and like, for example, the last one that touches it
is the one that starts, and then they go, this is one of those things that once you create a routine is super easy. So you say, okay, now we are gonna start sharing the information that you have, and if you are not done, keep working until you finish. But the ones that are done, the last person that touches her nose is gonna be or his nose is gonna be the person that starts. Let's practice, and they do it one time. You say
Like starts sharing
Yeah.
what they did, what they wrote?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
To
okay,
share what
okay.
they wrote. Okay. So you start
Okay.
writing in Italian 1, 2, 3. Touch your nose, and
Okay.
that was the practice. Now let's do the real one. I'm gonna tell you body part, and the last person. This knowing the body parts, probably they don't know. So what you can do is just teach them to like 3 or 4 body parts, or maybe you can draw a little figure, put it by the screen,
Mhm.
head, eyes, nose, the basics. So you
Okay.
practice. You're doing, that without them realizing they are learning body parts, and you
Okay.
can be adding, body parts once a week. So when you get to the body parts, they already know them, and it's a game for them. But it allows you to keep them focused and organized, and who's gonna start first. Okay. So when they start sharing, I always say, and I tell them, we go to the right. So whoever starts, then they go to the right, and all of them share.
Okay.
I give them a couple
So
minutes.
like give them like a structure
Yeah.
as they should.
Once if
Okay.
they have that structure, it goes like this. At the beginning, it takes a while to structure them, but then it goes super smooth.
Okay.
Once
That makes sense.
once they have that structure, you will see it's gonna go super smooth, and they are not gonna know what to do, and you're not gonna have anybody distracted or wanting to go to the bathroom, or playing with something, or they are middle schoolers, and it's so hard to get their attention. So that's something you can do, and after you give them a couple minutes, then you're like, okay, let's share now, and then you can pick somebody. I don't know how you do it in your classroom. I'm gonna show you what I do. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but this works for me very well. I have sticks with numbers, and I think I told you this once. And each table has
That's a
numbers.
number.
So what I do is when it's time to share, I'm like, okay, table number, and they don't know if they're gonna get to
Right.
So they're all praying, please, I hope it's not me. And then I say, 19 or 19, you say the number in Italian, now you're practicing the numbers also. If you have 1 to 24 or 25 students that you are practicing numbers as you are doing this. And then you pick the student, and that's the student that has to answer. So
Okay.
it's a good way to do it.
That way they don't feel like I'm picking on them.
Yeah,
and
because
it's
that's
more
another note that I
random.
put here. I'm
Okay.
like, my question was, how are you picking students when they have to answer? Because you were picking specific students.
Mhm.
What is making you pick those specific students? Because they are engaged? Because if that's the case, that's awesome, but the other ones that are not engaged should be answering. At the same time, you don't want to put them on the spot where they are like, she's always picking on me because I don't know. So this is a good way to everybody gets an opportunity to
Yeah.
talk, and everybody's waiting for the number. And this is, again, the way I do it, but you don't have to. It's just an idea.
I like it.
Any questions about that?
No?
Okay, that's one of the things that I saw that you could do at the beginning. Let me
Okay.
keep reading here. Okay, for example, I noticed that Andres, he was answering all the questions all the time because, of course, he's an A+ student. But the other students were not really engaged because he's
The
one of
ones
the
at
kids.
his table
Yeah.
or in general?
No, in that I noticed
At
that
the
table
table,
specifically
okay.
because I know him. I noticed that he's the one that was answering all the time, all the questions. That's what I say whenever you say answer, because you said that several times. Work with your partners or work with your,
Yeah.
the last person that touches her
Okay.
eyes, is the, and then you have somebody else, or even pick a number, okay, but you cannot do it like that. But in groups, you can say, the last person that.
Okay.
And another thing that you can do also, because you want to make sure that all of them are engaged. And sometimes you have students like Andres that is always talking, but the other ones, they seem to be listening, but how do we know they are listening?
Yeah.
So one thing that I use also, let me bring it here. I have this in my classroom. I like to have this stuff because I forget.
Okay.
So these papers that I hang on the classroom allow me, this is in Spanish, but I can translate the QSSA.
Okay.
So this is question, signal, stem, search,
Okay.
and answer. So basically what you are doing is, when you ask a question, okay, like for example, I don't know, let's see. Let's have a conversation in Italian. What were they, the other day they were kind of sharing also. So when they are sharing, say, okay, you share with your partner or with the group, okay? Now, when you share, you need to make sure that you listen to the other person, because I'm not gonna ask you what you said. I'm gonna ask you what the other person said. So that way you know they are listening and they are paying attention. They have to tell you that the other person. And then for the answer, even, whatever it is, you can have a stem that says, for example, first you ask the question, sorry, then you give a signal, are you ready guys, thumbs up that you did that, and then after that, a stem that says, my partner said in Italian, or I hear in Italian. So they are learning, you know, how to reply with the stems.
Okay.
Instead of giving just the answer. So you are adding a lot of steps of Italian without realizing they are working on numbers, they are working on body parts, they are working on stems to start sentences. Okay. Now I also noticed you were working on the days of the week and the weather, and I love that. I think it's great because they are learning that without realizing. But again, try to find a way to engage more students, or that can be your warm-up every day. Write down,
Have them write down.
the weather, and start with one, sentence, stem, and they have to write it down. I mean, and then they have to share instead of having, because if not, again, you may have always the same students doing it, and that's a way that everybody participates. They can write it down, then they can share it with the group, and then you can, now let me ask the question. And at the same time, you are taking attendance, and you are not, you didn't waste any time if you did it like that. Because
Okay.
then you're done with attendance, they are done with that, and let's move to the next thing. Okay? And you can start in this level that is low with the weather and the days of the week, and in the other levels, you can find something more advanced for them to do, or review the grammar from the day before, or anything. Anything that you think that could be either a review or how much do you know about something before I start teaching something else. Okay? Let me know if you have questions. Let me see. Yeah, and these are the notes that I have. Teacher reviews with the students asking orally as a class. Maybe students can think about it before and talk before they answer.
Before answering, okay.
It seems the same students answering. Andres, as I told you, was an example. I know that name, that's why I say Andres, but in other groups I could notice some students were always. One thing also that I don't see now, but I remember, when they go to the bathroom, and they go to the bathroom in class too, there is nothing you can do about it. My advice is make them have a signing paper, in case something happens in the bathroom, or it takes too long, you have proof like you left at this time. I have mine over there, and basically,
You have them sign in and out?
Yep.
Okay.
So you have the sign in and sign out, okay? And they just write the name, the period, the date, at what time they left, at what time they came.
Okay.
It will be awesome to have a clock. I want to buy one over there for them to use
So they
it.
can write.
Yeah, usually what I do is, as they are leaving, because they do the sign,
Yes.
and then I say 12:30 or whatever, and they write it down. I tell them. Or they look at the computer, somebody's computer, but it will be ideal, and that's something I also have to do, have a clock or something there so they can see the time whenever they go to the bathroom. That way, if something happens, you never know. And you have kind of control of that, of the students going to the bathroom, who is going to maths, and maybe students are trying to go because they just don't want to be penalized, you never know. Okay, so let me move to the next thing. Okay, then after that you did the moving to the back with the chairs. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The game.
Yeah, the game. So my question is, and again, this is just a question. For me, it seems like a lot to move, like the transition, and with middle school, it's moving things and then coming back. I always think, I have 40 minutes of class. I have to squeeze those 40 minutes until the last drop. Like I cannot waste any single second of the time. How do you think you could do that procedure without having?
I used to do it where it was just standing stuff, but I can keep more control and see who's doing what, and if they're really trying to move, if they're on the seat,
Okay.
and they enjoy it more on the
Okay.
seat.
Of course. They love to move.
Yes.
For sure.
Especially 7th graders,
Yeah,
they
they
really
love to
love the
move.
chair game.
Uh-huh.
But I understand your point, because it does take a minute or two to do that.
And now explain to me, I didn't understand 100% the game. Explain to me a little bit.
Okay, so they had like question words,
Mhm.
interrogative words in Italian. So dove.
And it was practicing the grammar that you were gonna go over.
So we had already gone over those dove the day before.
Okay. And you were about to start add something to it, so
Si.
you were practicing with the game. Okay.
See, so I had those question words, and then under every question words, I had like 4 or 5 sentences that connected that you can use with that specific question word.
Okay.
So dove, where is the cat that jumped over the blah blah blah,
Okay.
all in Italian.
Okay.
Okay, so it was reading because that way everybody had to read
Yeah,
it
of
to
course.
know if they
Mhm.
had to move.
Yeah.
Because I tried it without that thing, but then they would just not,
No, and it's good that they have the,
That
when
way
you're
they
learning a
can-
language, you really need to have some kind of, support
Yeah.
there.
So the person standing up would pick a sentence. Okay, so they would read the cat that jumped over the table.
Mhm.
And then I would say one of the question words. So dove, cos'è, chi, cosa.
What
And
are those?
it was, sometimes it was a lie, and sometimes it was a
Oh,
truth.
okay, that's what it seems. I
Yeah.
don't know it
If
that
it
much
was-
Italian. I didn't figure
If
out.
it was the truth, then they had to move.
Okay.
If it was a lie, they had to stay still.
Okay. So basically, the students during that activity, I know they are having fun and they love it, but they are really practicing reading
Reading and comprehension.
and comprehension,
Mhm.
listening comprehension
And
reading.
the ones standing are talking. They're
Okay.
saying the sentence.
They have to come up
But-
with the sentence
yes.
and create it. Okay, I just I was a little confused because I didn't understand
Yeah, it's a
Italian.
little complicated.
Yeah,
but once
and
they get
knew.
it,
No, they knew what
Yeah.
to do. They knew right away what to do. No, and you have to keep them engaged at this age, definitely, if not they get bored. Okay, so let me see what I put. Give me 1 second.
yeah, no problem.
Yeah, students move back to the rooms with the chairs. Maybe they could find another way to transition. That's what I put. As I told you the other day, I still think that the crazy activities
Mhm.
are better towards the end. Just
Okay.
because if not, they get overexcited and
You
it's
still
hard
think
to
it's
calm
better?
them down.
Okay.
Now, I have to tell you something. I was really surprised on how fast they calm down after that.
Mhm.
I thought it was gonna be like they were gonna be all wild for a while. No, I was really surprised. It's a suggestion again, you don't have to do it. It's
Okay.
just me, the way that I teach, you have your own style.
Yeah.
And again, they went back to their seats really fast and you were able to calm them down and make them focus right away.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe it's my style. I like to leave, the craziness and the fun for the end. I want them working hard
Yeah.
so they have something fun at the end to do. That's the way I see it, but that doesn't mean that you have to change
No, I understand.
it. Then I have here teachers could. Oh, you counted from 10 to 1 to make them quiet. Okay. It was a long time, maybe 1 to 5?
Okay. Maybe 5.
Or 5 to
instead of 10. Okay.
Yeah, or 10 to 15. I mean, you're practicing numbers and I think that's great, but I think 5 seconds is enough. They have to go faster, but maybe you can change 1 to 5 first and 5 to 10 another day, 10 to 15, so they get to hear the numbers. But it's not that long the time, it took them a while. And after that, it says students have a paper and have to read out loud within the group in the circle. And you pick who was reading. Is that correct? The teacher picks who reads. A student stands up. Who do you choose to pick to answer?
Was that a small group or was it a whole?
I think it was. The students have papers. No, I think that was the whole group. The student picks who reads. A student stands up.
Oh, I think we went over it. Okay, it was the talking
The
exercise.
review, I think.
So we
yeah.
we went over it as a class,
Mhm.
and yes, they decided who picked. But then after that, they were meant to do it in a group.
Yeah, the group I remember.
Okay.
But before that I remember. So that's a good opportunity to use this where they are first they do it together
Mhm.
before they do it as a group. So you make sure that
So-
everybody.
So change it to where first they do it in a group, and
I
then
think it's good that before if you pick somebody to answer in the classroom, you're gonna have always the smart
Yes.
kids answering. That's what we get.
yes,
Then if you handpick somebody that maybe is not one of the smartest
Then you
kids,
put
they,
them on
they
the
yeah,
spot.
then maybe they feel like I don't like to do that personally. I prefer to make them feel comfortable. I want them to feel like Even if I'm not good enough, I have the support to be good. And if the teacher asks me, I'm gonna know because my friends help me and we figure out together.
So when you're presenting something for the first time, right? You're presenting something for
Let's
the
say I'm
first time.
presenting verbs.
Yeah. Or
Okay, conjugation or whatever you
questions
want.
and answer.
Okay.
Question and answer. Would you have them for so would you eliminate my part of it, of me reading it to them or doing
No.
it as a whole group and go straight to the small group?
I
And
mean,
then,
we can
or what do you
still,
think?
I think you can review it. And I think it's a good idea to review it as you are saying and maybe asking questions before, or you can do it as a small group. The question is always, and I have that question myself, when I review things, I review them and I ask, and who do you ask?
It's how you ask. Okay.
Who do you ask? You want everybody to be engaged. Maybe, if you have a procedure like the sticks with the numbers, everybody is ready
Okay.
because they know it's coming. So when you present information, as you were saying, yeah, I agree with you. There is no need to do that. When you're reviewing something that you have already done, maybe you can review and start picking random students, to answer the question.
Okay.
What I do a lot of times, if a student that I pick doesn't know the answer, that it happens, you don't want them to feel bad, and you're super sweet with them, so I'm sure you do something similar. I always say, okay, you don't know, okay, I'm gonna give you a moment to think about it, I'm coming back to you, who can help? Juanito, and somebody else help, and then I go back, okay, can you tell me now? They had here and now there, so at least that the student that didn't know has listened and now he can repeat for everybody else.
Okay.
Okay, let me go to the next thing. Okay, I'm asking you to clarify the terms that you already told me. And share activity later. Teacher picks a student and student reads. Tongue twist. Okay, tell me about the tongue twist.
So the tongue twisters, they love it.
Uh-huh. You throw it randomly in there. Did you have any connection with it? It was just fun, like a break of fun.
So it's it's to have them more engaged with the chair game. It's connected to the chair game.
Okay.
So whoever had to stand up because they were too slow to move chairs,
They have to say a tongue
they
twist.
have to pick a tongue twister.
Oh, they have to read it.
And they have to read the tongue, and it kind of helps them with articulations in Italian. But they love hearing me say it, and then they try to say it. It's something that it's fun, but it just usually takes.
It's super fast.
15 seconds.
It was super fast.
Yes.
I like that it was fast, but my questions were,
How
do
was it
students
connected?
know, do students know why they are reading this? What is the meaning? What is the objective of the activity after the chair game? I couldn't find.
It was
The connection.
there really wasn't that much connection,
Okay.
except for it being something fun that they could do in Italian.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. I think it's a great idea to have it. Maybe try to
somehow.
Like I feel like when you do a lesson, you try to connect all the activities
Yeah.
within each other that make
Yeah.
sense and that have, that flow. And I feel like suddenly that didn't. So I think it's a great activity, but maybe you can leave that activity.
Okay.
I don't know. I will try to figure out where to put it, but I really like it. I like the fact that the kids were, trying to say the tongue
And they're
twister.
getting good.
Yeah. No, I think it was great. And all of them were super engaged. Then let me go back. The tongue twister. Do students know? Okay. Teacher presents information, and then you presented the pronouns. The law. And ask students to read out loud. Maybe students can read information first on paper and then can ask for clarification. Students do not seem to have notes. Oh, yes, I wanted to ask you this.
Okay.
Now I remember. So do you remember how, your students were actually, they have a paper. And I asked some students, what are you gonna do now with the paper once you're done? And they couldn't tell me what they were gonna do. So you give them the paper with the vocabulary.
Okay.
What do they do with that paper? Put it in their backpacks?
When they're done with it, they
In the backpack?
When
They cannot find it ever?
No.
It happens to me.
So I learned.
Sometimes I'm like, can I have a
Yeah.
paper? And they're like,
No, so I learned what I'm doing, but last year that's how it was.
Uh-huh.
This year what I'm doing is I just pick them all up.
You pick them up,
So
they don't
or
have them?
they put them in their bin.
I was gonna say, do they have notebooks or do they have? They don't. Okay.
They should have. Some of them are like, I don't know where it is. I lost it.
Okay. So I think with 7th graders, definitely a notebook, not a binder. That is not even. Don't even give it a try. So notebook. This is the 25 minutes, but we're gonna keep going with this a little longer.
Okay.
So the notebook could be something good for them. And with my students, if I give them vocabulary, what I do is I make them staple it or glue it inside, so it's always there. Because if not,
How do you prevent them from losing it? Do you keep them in the?
I keep the
class?
notebooks here in the classroom.
You keep
they
them.
don't go anywhere.
Okay.
If they go
Because
somewhere,
that's
they
the
lose
problem.
them.
I give them one and
They lose them. What I do is the vocabulary, I put it in Canvas so they can study at home.
Okay,
And then
that
they
was
have
my
the hard
question.
copy here.
Was like, have them, do they study at home? So
Yeah,
you put
they
it-
always have so all the hard copies are here, all my bundles, everything, and then they have at home
Okay.
in Canvas they can study. If they study, that's another one.
Yeah,
But
of course.
you
There
have
are
done your
a
part.
few, those few.
You have done your part.
Okay.
Okay, and other than that, second to learn, okay. I think it took a little long for the kids also to start writing, like they like to talk, the transitions.
Mhm.
I think it has to be a little more, again, squeeze every single second that you have. I feel like there was,
They're talkers.
Yeah, they are.
They're good, but they're
Yeah,
talkers
yeah,
too.
they like to talk. I could tell, and they feel really comfortable in the classroom. That's great. But yeah, if you could monitor that, or just a little bit, that would be awesome. Did you assign their seats, or I can tell that they pick the
No.
seats.
So, I tried with two of my classes this year to do assigned seated, and it did not go well.
Why?
Because it was a different situation, but they had picked Italian so that they could work with their friends on Italian. And so at first I had them assigned seated, and then I had kids drop out, or I had kids unhappy, or I had kids
Too bad. I thought you're not here.
or I
to
had
have
kids not communicating at
At
all.
all. But
Like
they
when
have to
we
get
were
over that.
doing- But then when I changed, then I'm like, okay,
Then
guys,
you're working together.
so these groups can be together, and these groups, and I to see how it went, and they're working
were working.
better.
I know, but do you know what? At the
So,
same time, and I
that's
understand why you did it. Mine are assigned, and at the beginning they're like, and they end up being friends because they have to work in another
They
class
have
together.
to.
They have to. There is not and I don't change their seats all year long. If I don't have any problems, they stay where they are. They get one of these at the beginning of the school year. Then you go to table 10. That's where you stay. I just think when you put them with the friends, yes, they talk, but they talk sometimes when they are not supposed to be talking. And they feel so comfortable, some of them, that they are just talking about things that are not, and I'm not saying I saw that.
No,
but it
yeah.
happens, they talk about things that are not
Connected
connected to
the,
whatever you're doing. So
Yeah.
my advice, and I know at this point of the year, I don't know if you want to do it, maybe you want to wait until the second semester, or you want to give them a reason, you didn't behave today, so I'm sorry, I'm gonna change seats. I don't know, something.
that has worked better for me, to where, okay, you get to sit where you want, but it's with my sixth grade, this is with them last year. But after 3 strikes, you're out. 3 strikes, we're moving.
Yeah,
Because that way I can give them a few chances
Mhm.
and
For me, I tried to do that one year
It
in my
didn't
whole
work.
career, in 23 years. And what happened is when I moved them, because they were talking too much,
Then
they
they
would
get
be
mad.
mad, and they're like, no, I'm not doing anything. So I think it
Mhm.
made it even worse, do you know, because I moved them. So just think about it. You don't have to
I
ever
wonder
think
if
about it.
it's, I feel like it's also the grade level. It depends
Oh,
on the grade level.
Middle schoolers are just,
It's
you know, you
like-
put the seniors to sit down with their friends, and they do the work still.
Yeah.
But seniors or juniors, but middle schoolers, that's tough.
Yeah.
Believe me, when they come to my room, I'm like, no, please, middle school.
Yeah.
Okay, so other than that, just telling you, I mean, I really
But I
enjoy
do
the
have a
kids.
few.
The kids were, engaged, and you were monitoring the whole time. I think you're doing an awesome job with them, and anything I can help you do, little things like this that can help you just let me know. I'm here to help, but I really
Thank you.
appreciate you giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for
Okay.
helping me. It's a lot of good information.
Not a
that I'm
problem.
gonna
I'm
use.
glad you're gonna be able to
It's
use
gonna
it.
be useful.
Thank you.